The horrors of Keir Starmer. We're going to be going back to his days as DPP. Just a never-ending list of shit that just keeps coming out about Keir Starmer. Starting with Jimmy Savile. You got to go with the big dogs to begin with, yeah? Right, so this is great. I got this story from Lord Ashcroft's blog. Starmer's story is that he, personally, was never aware that Savile had ever been accused, let alone that the CPS had reviewed allegations against him and decided he could not be charged, even though he had been the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, for nearly a year by the time that now highly controversial decision was made. So that's basically Starmer's position. It never came across my desk. That's what he says about just about everything.
That's what he says about Jimmy Savile.
Yeah, exactly. Lord Ashcroft goes on to say, but on October 24th, 2012, so this is after everything came out about Savile, Starmer acknowledged that the CPS had apparently allowed Savile to slip through the net. So that's the other thing about this case and all of the other cases that Starmer had no idea about, is that everybody accepts that someone somewhere, some organization, some individuals fucked up, right? The fact that Savile went for decades, right, abusing people in major institutions, in hospitals, and people fucked up. CPS, even Starmer says specifically, the CPS fucked up, right? But nobody can say how or who or why any of this happened. There's no one's to blame for any of these things. What Starmer did do, in light of these things coming out about Jimmy Savile, is he launched the Alison Levitt investigation. Alison Levitt, obviously in a good place to do the investigation since she worked directly for Keir Starmer. So that's always a good person. You know, if you want someone to scrutinize your work, you get somebody that works directly below you. Levitt found that in May 2007, a complaint of SA was made to Surrey police that alleged to have occurred in the 1970s. During a subsequent investigation by Surrey police, they also found that separately, Sussex police had looked into another complaint. In the course of their respective allegations, detectives from each police force came to know of the allegations the other was looking into. So the separate allegations being made, separate police forces. The police are aware of it. Levitt explained that an extremely experienced CPS reviewing lawyer had supervised the Savile matter when it was brought to the CPS's attention. Her report gave the impression that this lawyer oversaw the case alone. She interviewed the lawyer for her report, but granted him anonymity for some reason. Significantly, Levitt stated that the mystery lawyer struggled to remember the details after all this time, which is weird. I think it would be pretty memorable if someone told you that Jimmy Savile had been accused of this stuff by separate police forces around the country. I vaguely remember that case. It is surprising that Levitt was not more skeptical about his faulty memory of what was always going to be a high-profile case. That's what Lord Ashcroft thinks. Levitt did query why the CPS did not try to build a case, noting that had the complainants been given more information by the police at the time of the investigation, and if each one had been told that she was not the only woman to have complained, they would probably have prepared to give evidence. Yeah. The inference was that Savile could have ended up in court had the police and the CPS handled things differently. Now, how does Starmer fit in? Well, not at all, never crossed his desk. So something that Levitt doesn't seem to be interested in is how many CPS employees, other than the mystery lawyer, knew that the CPS was looking into this highly sensitive case between 2007 and 2009. Levitt's report did not say. Also, Levitt does not appear to have asked him, this mystery lawyer, the only person who seems to be working on it, to explain whether he ever discussed the Savile matter with any of his CPS colleagues, including Starmer, over the 30 months that he took charge of the case. Just kept his mouth shut the whole time.
30 months. Oh.
Levitt report stated that the case file... This is also another thing that happens quite a lot. Levitt's report stated that the case files were returned to the police after it was decided no prosecution would take place. She explained that all traces of the Savile file were removed from CMS, the CPS's internal electronic case management system, and destroyed on October the 26th, 2010, 2 years after Starmer became DPP. Also, something that Levitt doesn't seem curious about is who decided that Starmer, who had made a point of telling staff when he became DPP that his door was always open and who attended regular meetings with CPS staff around the country, should be kept in the dark about the Savile investigation. It isn't even clear whether he first learnt about the CPS's involvement before or after Savile's death. Levitt, later made a Labour peer by her former CPS boss, apparently failed to ask these basic questions. So, terrible report by Levitt, but obviously rewarded by Keir Starmer himself. Anyway, should we move on to the post office scandal?
Sure.
Keir Starmer denies he knew CPS was prosecuting post office operators. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it never crossed his desk. Labour leader was director of public prosecutions when 3 cases brought by CPS resulted in convictions. Guardian, 10th of January, 2024. Keir Starmer has denied he was aware of Crown Prosecution Service prosecutions against post office operators caught up in the Horizon IT scandal when he headed the agency. It has emerged from official reviews that 10 cases taken by the CPS resulted in convictions. 3 occurred while Starmer was DPP. So these were people that went to prison during the post office scandal. These were entirely innocent people that the post office blamed for taking money when it was actually the system itself that was fucking up. This is where a Labour spokesman literally quotes, "They didn't go to his desk." That was the Labour response.
Maybe his desk is just very small.
Yeah. Well, maybe
Little baby desk.
He doesn't have a desk. That was it. His first thing, his first day, is right. I'm getting rid of the desk. That should solve most of the problems.
It's just a little pink My Little Pony desk in the.
This is my desk. It's called the
it goes
bin.
across there. Yeah. There's gonna be some changes around here, motherfuckers.
Anyway, so that's the post office scandal sorted. He wasn't involved in that either. I mean, the thing is, say, well, okay, maybe he wasn't aware of these things. He didn't actively put people in prison for no reason or actively let Jimmy Savile off the hook. Fine. But did he do a fucking good job? Did he actually figure anything out? Let all these people go to prison for wrong reason, or that we had one of the most high-profile, respected people in the country was going around abusing people? You know, he didn't do anything good, did he? It's not like a boast. The other thing, right, is this is from the Independent, January 2024. So to this day, not a single post office or Fujitsu employee has been held to account over the scandal, much less face criminal investigation. At least 60 of the victims of the post office people have died before finding any justice at all. Fujitsu, they were the company that made that system, the Horizon thing that the post office was using, right? Do you know what happened to those guys? Well, now they run the Trade Support Service, which is the technical system set up post-Brexit to help businesses navigate post-Brexit custom arrangements. And that's a £300 million contract with the government.
Yeah.
So they've learned their lesson. I think they should give it to Palantir. Get it? Because at the moment, they're looking to renew their contract, and there's pressure on Starmer not to allow them to do that. But
Sounds like a lot of people are failing upwards, Daniel.
Should we talk about the big one, though? Because I think the reason that maybe he wasn't aware of anything that was going on in the country while he was head of the CPS was that he was so obsessed with Julian Assange.
Ooh.
He did, because he was he didn't get involved in Savile, he didn't get involved in the post office thing, but he was very hands-on when it came to Julian Assange, and everything went through him.
Don't go soft on me, said an email from Starmer's office, unsigned, I believe. Don't go soft on us this time. I think it was to the Swedish prosecutors.
Oh yeah, they were badgering the Swedes.
Office. Basically, the Swedes were a bit like, should we really be fucking around with this? And they were like, and our team
GB,
Keir, our Keir, were like, no, you're gonna do this.
You fucking do it. This is from Declassified June 2023. CPS has destroyed all records of Keir Starmer's 4 trips to Washington. So more things going missing. While DPP, Starmer made trips to Washington in 2009, 2011, 2012, and 2013 at the cost to the British taxpayer of £21,000. Well, £21,600. It was his most frequent foreign destination while in post. Keir Starmer spent nearly 3 times as much on expenses as his CPS successor Alison Saunders, including first-class flights abroad and a chauffeur-driven car. So Starmer he always took business class at very least.
And probably a quick detour to the fucking Trilateral Commission and the Bilderberg fucking owl sacrificing ceremony.
But yeah, you have to remember, though, he was taking these first-class flights and all of that and whatnot. At the time that the Tories were bringing in austerity cuts across all of the basically the public sector. And the CPS lost over 30% of its day-to-day funding. And of course, Starmer now, as Prime Minister, wants to bring in more cuts to public services, but obviously not to his own department, to himself. Like, heaven forbid that he wouldn't fly first class. I think if you're Prime Minister, the cuts should start there with the Prime Minister himself. He should get a smaller house. He should get a flat. He should have to commute in from Barking.
I should have to carry in your tiny desk every day.
Yeah. On top of this, during Starmer's time in post, the CPS was marred by irregularities surrounding the case of the WikiLeaks founder, Julian Assange. The organisation has admitted to destroying key emails related to the Assange case, mostly covering the period when Starmer was in charge. So stuff about the flights were destroyed, emails were destroyed. Jonathan Cook wrote...
I wonder if they destroyed them deliberately because there was something incriminating about their behaviour in that.
That's conspiratorial thinking, Matt. We're above that. Jonathan Cook said, but this is another really unfortunate thing that happened. Jonathan Cook wrote in January 2025, extraordinarily and conveniently for both the UK and Sweden, it emerged during legal hearings in early 2023 that the prosecutors in Stockholm claimed to have destroyed the very same correspondence deleted by the CPS. So you would think, well, okay, they destroy the CPS, don't know what they're doing, but at least over in Sweden they'd keep a record. But they destroyed them as well. The few documents that have come to light show that it was the CPS, led at the time by Keir Starmer, later knighted, and now Britain's Prime Minister, that waged what appears to have been a campaign of political persecution against Assange, rather than one based on proper legal considerations. But, that's speculation from Jonathan Cook, because there's no fucking record of any of it. So we'll never know exactly what happened. Anyway, Jonathan Cook goes on to say, if the documents truly have been destroyed, it will be difficult, if not impossible, to ever know how directly he was involved in those decisions. It's too bad. Anyway, that's not the end of the horrors of Keir Starmer. There's more. This is Oliver Eagleton in Novara Media, March 2021.
Sorry, it is Halloween today, just in case you were watching this after Halloween.
Gary McKinnon, do you remember him?
Yeah, leaked information, spy stuff.
Yeah, he hacked.
Well, he didn't
hacked
leak information. He hacked, I should say. Yeah. And he was very autistic, I believe, and found aliens on a Pentagon computer.
I don't think he actually did find aliens.
Well, I might have exaggerated there.
He tried to, though. God bless him, he tried. So, upon Keir Starmer's appointment in 2008, he inherited the case of Gary McKinnon, an autistic IT expert who had gained unauthorized access to US military databases, hoping to find information about UFOs. Although McKinnon never published any of his findings, the security breach was a major embarrassment for the US state, which issued an indictment that would have seen the hacker imprisoned for up to 70 years. Starmer, this is obviously Eagleton's framing, but it's not good for Starmer. Starmer pledged to do everything in his power to deliver McKinnon to Holder. It's just an autistic guy, right?
I know, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
And that's the same kind of thing they were trying to do to Julian Assange, like 70 years, or it's even longer for his. At least
Assange was doing it for an effect. Like he was, I agree with what Assange was doing, but he was trying to do it to bring down the state. This guy just on a goof wants to know about UFOs. He's curious.
Yeah, he was just very fucking curious about flying saucers.
And if your IT system can't beat like just some guy in his bedroom, then it's fucking on your IT system, isn't it? You fucking idiots. Anyway, so Starmer pledged to do everything in his power to deliver McKinnon to Holder. The defendant was hounded through the courts until 2012, becoming increasingly depressed and suicidal as successive appeals were thrown out. Yet just when it seemed his fate was sealed, Home Secretary Theresa May suddenly withdrew the extradition order, concluding that after careful consideration of all the relevant material, Mr. McKinnon's extradition would give rise to such a high risk of him ending his life that a decision to extradite him would be incompatible with Mr. McKinnon's human rights. And Starmer was like, no, we should extradite him. I want to impress the Americans.
I want him to kill himself. And of course, Julian Assange was in this. There's never been any proper fucking sob story put out. I don't mean sob story negatively, but actually, Julian Assange was suicidal in prison. He had it was hardly reported, but he had smuggled razor blades into his cell. All of these same things that applied to Gary McKinnon did also apply to Julian Assange. both cases were prosecuted by the national security states in both countries, and of course in Scandinavia in the case of Assange. Both were fucking horrible things to do by the government. But Assange was treated even worse, 10 times even worse than poor old Gary was.
Oh yeah, they wouldn't let. They sort of denied him basic stuff, didn't they, in prison? Even though he's in there for years and years, they deny him books and stuff.
Yeah,
anything.
You mean Julian? Yeah,
Julian.
I don't know about Gary, but
so Eagleton says Starmer is reported to have reacted with fury that McKinnon had got off. Like,
oh, really?
Why would he fucking give a like? I personally want this,
weird.
you know.
Yeah.
The next day
he's fucking weird, any Keir Starmer.
The next day, he boarded a plane to Washington and met with Holder's deputies to plead that this episode should not jeopardize their future relationship. I can be tough. Please give me another chance to kill someone. It's fucking disgusting. I mean, the thing is that it obviously, I don't think he just wants to see mentally ill people be killed. I think he wants to show that he can.
If it has to happen.
Yeah, he wants to show that if the Americans want that, he will do it. And he can do it. He can get results. And he failed in this moment. And Starmer, he's in the shower. The failure. I gotta get off. Like,
I must kill autistics.
I must kill. Maybe I can offer them another autistic child.
That's made me feel queasy.
But that's how you get on in society, isn't it? That's the whole problem with everything. It's these sorts of people that sort of deliver to power or do anything they can to get results.
I'm not going to be able to get that image of Starmer in the shower out of my mind. That's fucking disgusting.
Just imagine it's Morrissey instead.
Morrissey doing the double body double.
Anyway, should we quickly round up some of the other things?
Please do.
Woo. Binyam Mohammed produced evidence of British involvement in his torture, and it fell to Starmer to decide whether the lead MI5 officer, I think it was called like Witness B or something, would be prosecuted. Starmer declared he would not. So this is the other thing. When it comes to the police, comes to the secret services, Starmer always manages to not prosecute. And you can say, as you know, either he didn't know about it. I mean, in these cases he did, and in these cases you can say, well, the evidence wasn't there. But it's like, just fucking. This is the point of someone who's good at these kind of jobs, is they make things happen in these arenas, right? They get justice, they find a way, and in every case like this, he always fails. So another recipient of Starmer's clemency
succeeds in what he's trying to do, which is be
well, no, he did fail with McKinnon, and I will never forget it, Starmer. Your failure.
Yeah, when he's old, like when we're interviewing him in like 30 years, like, any regrets? I wish I had killed Gary McKinnon. I wish I'd forced the suicide of Gary McKinnon. What, because he was about to find out the existence of aliens?
Nah.
Just because I like forcing
just for
suicide.
a goof. Another recipient of Starmer's clemency was Tzipi Livni, the former Israeli foreign minister who was part of the Israeli war cabinet during the 2008 assault on Gaza that killed an estimated 1,400 Palestinians, 333 of them children. When she arrived in Britain, Starmer's former comrades from the Haldane Society of Socialist Lawyers, you know, back when he pretended that he was left-wing, handed him a private application for her arrest on war crimes. Starmer could have approved the request immediately.
But unfortunately, the report was mysteriously
It never crossed his desk.
It never crossed my desk. It just dropped straight into the drain outside my fucking office.
Anyway, he delayed for long enough that the Foreign Office was able to issue a certificate designating her visit a special mission, meaning she was immune from prosecution. Too bad.
Yeah, well, Gary McKinnon's fucking discovery of UFOs was a fucking special mission. It was a pretty special mission. Apparently, he downloaded the thing and he could see the metallic object, and then it cut out.
So you're saying that he did see stuff.
Yeah, I can't remember when this is from, but years ago I was part of UFO conferences and
there's this increasing,
and I'm sure I came across that. Yeah,
there's this increasing sort of belief online that there's going to be a hoax alien invasion. That's what the US is planning for some reason or other. I'm not entirely sure why. but I don't know, just to boost the economy for growth. I don't know, but
anything for growth.
Yeah, but like, do you remember at the beginning of the year there was all of those mysterious drones across New Jersey? Do you remember that story?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, like Adam Curtis and that have when they've been doing their investigations on this sort of stuff, have said that all of the UFO stuff going back to the 60s has been actually US using sort of secretive technology that they haven't shared.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the idea would be that they have stuff that looks so crazy that if they were to do some spectacular false flag thing, they could make it look like we're being invaded by aliens. And then, like, the aliens have said, they've said that they really want growth. Yeah. They really want low taxes for the rich, and they want to they want to open up oil fields. That's what the aliens are saying. It's funny. They've got all the same.
We come in peace. Go to the shops.
They think that there should be a two-state solution, but they think that they'll probably not be able to implement it right now. Anyway, Starmer,
we are all one, except for Iran.
Britain must rejoin the EU or everyone dies. Well, you heard the guy.
There's one little alien at the back. Aren't they a bunch of bureaucrats in Brussels?
He gets immediately zoom lasered. Oh, yes. This is also from, what's he called? Eagleton. Starmer altered CPS guidelines to facilitate the prosecution of peaceful protesters and to punish alleged rioters with harsher jail sentences. So you remember the big riots, I think it was, 2010 in London, and then spread throughout the country.
2011 riots, I think.
2011, yeah. And Keir Starmer was in charge when they did those sort of 24-hour courts, and they were rushing people through, and people were getting like 6 months for stealing a Mars bar and stuff. Yeah. Prosecuting undercover police. Oh, yes. And also, of course, spy cops. Eagleton mentions that. Prosecuting undercover police officers who had stitched up left-wing activists. Starmer famously whitewashed the spy cops. PsyOps, the PsyOps scandal. Anyway, very quickly, let's just cap off this Keir Starmer malarkey. So, on MI5, okay, this is from Declassified May 2023. The year after Starmer protected MI5 chief Sir Jonathan Evans from possible prosecution over MI5's role in CIA torture, Starmer, who was still in his role as the senior public prosecutor, went to Evans' farewell drinks, paid for by MI5. Obviously, there is a bit of a contradiction, conflict of interests. That year, he had been the head of an organization that had been involved in an investigation into MI5 and was now sort of at a friendly... I mean, I don't know how big these drinks were. It was just like everybody who's fucking
How many drinks did you have, Keir? How pissed were you?
Well,
I got so drunk I decided to become a deep state stooge.
Starmer does like to drink, so maybe he just goes to any farewell drinks that he could get invited to. Anyway, it's interesting.
Would he go to Gary McKinnon's fucking drinks party?
His farewell drinks as he's being taken up into the spaceship. But the article talks about Evans' relationship with Starmer. So upon Starmer's announcement that there wouldn't be a prosecution, that they were stopping the investigation, another one in the bin. Then MI5 chief Evans said, "I'm delighted that after a thorough police investigation, the Crown Prosecution Services, CPS, has concluded that witness B," this was the guy that was alleged to be involved in the torture, "has no case to answer in respect of his interviewing of Mr. Binyam Mohammed." So he was the guy that had accused the MI5 of torture. Evans continued, "Witness B is a dedicated public servant who has worked with skill and courage over many years to keep the people of this country safe from terrorism. And I regret that he has had to endure this long and difficult process." I get the feeling like he wanted to say this long and torturous process. And he's like, oh no, probably shouldn't. Evans' relief was understandable, right? This is what Declassified say. The CPS's role also involved attempting to trace responsibility for witnesses B's actions further up MI5's chain of command and considered possible criminal wrongdoings. So as everybody knows, there was, black sites and CIA torture and during the war on terror, so called. And this was taking place at Guantanamo Bay and all sorts of things, right? But nobody ever gets prosecuted. And it's these key moments when an organization like the CPS decides that they're not going to follow an investigation, and it won't go up the chain, they won't find out who did things. This is why all of this happens. And so Keir Starmer is just a classic case of someone who, when he was in this role, he played the role of someone
gatekeeper.
Who was gatekeeper, right? Someone who's going to keep this going, keep all this deep state bullshit undercover, not investigate it properly, not find out anything. And he was rewarded for that. He was knighted and became a Labour MP and then Prime Minister.
Yeah.
A few other things quickly. Let's just get it all out in the open on state violence. So Keir Starmer approved the early decision not to prosecute police officers who killed Jean-Charles de Mendes. That was another high-profile murder by, I think it was the Met. Armed Met officers shot him on the tube. Starmer did not prosecute another police officer, Simon Harwood, over the death of Ian Tomlinson. You'll probably remember this as well. This was during the student riots. I think it was student riots. It was definitely around that time, obviously 2010, where Ian Tomlinson was batoned on the head.
Oh, yeah.
It fell to the ground and then died in hospital. And they were like, it was unrelated. He had a dodgy noggin. I don't know. Anyway, it's not like, okay, in every case, these guys are 100% guilty and they should all be in prison for life. But it is like a sort of pattern of whenever...
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the thing. It's the pattern. I was never sure about that one with Jean-Charles Menendez, about whether, it's hard to know what the police should have done there. I mean,
well, not sure.
It does seem like they killed someone without any evidence whatsoever. They just freaked out, I guess. Which I guess would usually get you into some kind of manslaughter territory.
When I was watching the news the day before and these guys running around, there was a freak out. You could see the police were just running around with guns all the time. It was kind of mad. But yeah, he wasn't armed. He didn't have a vest. He didn't have a bag. I think, well, maybe he did have a bag, but I don't know if it was like, there was nothing immediate about him to suggest that he was a direct threat to anyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, to not prosecute at all, I think, is pretty bad.